Hello and welcome to the Hunt Family Farm. My name is Victoria and today I have a quick beekeeping video for you. I hope that this video really helps someone else not make the same mistake that I did. So let's get into it. What I have in front of me are two different types of frames with two different types of cases. So this is actually from a honey super and it is a wax frame. If you see, the wax frame has these very thin metal wires that run vertically from the top to the bottom, and then a very thin sheet of wax. These are the types of frames that bees typically prefer to build on. I'm not sure if the video is relaying exactly how thin this is, but this is some of the wax that came off of one of those. As you can see, it's very thin. And then here we have a frame with a plastic foundation, and the plastic foundation is definitely a lot more sturdy. But although when you buy them they do say they're pre-waxed, bees typically don't like these. They don't have enough wax on them, and they may not put anything on them at all, as has been the case with the ones that I put in my hives. Or sometimes you'll see where they'll build like just really weird comb and like weird patterns that's not really connected like on the foundation. So in that case, what you have to do is get those frames out of the hive, because the bees are just not going to use them, and you have to add another layer of wax. I've also heard some people say that they spray them down with sugar syrup, and that helps as well. But that's the entire point of the video today, is to wax these plastic foundations so that we can get them back into the hive. Also, another note about plastic foundations is they do come in different colors, and while the bees don't like them, beekeepers tend to like them. One, because of the sturdiness, and then two, if you get a darker background, it's easier to see within the individual cells of the honeycomb. So, you know, whatever your preference is as a beekeeper, but just know that if you are using plastic foundations, you do need to put another layer of wax on them. How do we do that? Well, first things first is I laid down a piece of plastic over the table that I'm working on, because anytime you're working with wax and things like that, it can get really messy and can mess up, you know, your furniture or whatever. I'm actually working on a stainless steel table today, so it should be fine. I could probably just scrape it off, but you know, better safe than sorry. I laid down something to protect my work area. We have a small crock pot, just a cheap crock pot that I picked up from, I don't know, maybe like Dollar General or somewhere like that. I think it was like 10 bucks. And we're going to actually melt some wax inside of here. And I already have it going, but we have this little handy dandy brush that we're going to use to brush wax onto the foundations. You know, I've seen some videos of people waxing their foundations, and I actually saw a guy using a long candle and just holding it to the wax and letting it drip across the frame. You know, that's something that you can do. Not my preference, but however you can get the wax melted and onto the frame, you go for it. I did have some wax foundation that kind of broke up, so that's what I'm melting right now. But I also went online and purchased just some little beeswax blocks, and if I don't have enough of the wax foundation to complete the job, then I'll have these as a backup where I can just kind of break them up and melt them, and we can get the frames waxed. So our wax is now melting pretty good here, where we can get started painting on the frames. But I just had a thought about something that I could possibly try, and we'll see how it works. And that is just taking the bar of wax that's solid and rubbing it back and forth across the frame to add wax to it. We're just gonna rub it back and forth, and I'm sure you can't tell from there, but it is adding some wax to the frame. And I'm almost certain that I've heard people say, or read somewhere, that people do it this way. I'm not sure if it's gonna be visible, but you can probably see like little white markings on here, and that's where the wax is. So we'll do a couple this way, paint the rest of it on, and then we'll see, you know, if the bees take to it this way. So now that we have a decent amount of wax in here that has melted, this wax off my little brush, we can start painting the wax on. And we're just gonna drop the wax on like this. Now with this, I'm definitely seeing more wax. So as you can see here, you can definitely see the wax on this one. Some spots are wax heavier than others, but I don't think there should be a problem with that. But this is essentially what we want, so that we can get the bees to take to this frame and start building out comb. So then we just flip and do the other side. I'm going to add a little more wax in here. And as this wax is popping on me, it is very hot. So definitely be careful when you're doing something like this that you don't burn yourself. Ooh, really got myself good that time. I might even suggest that you wear some gloves and or long sleeves when doing this, so that you don't end up with a ton of little wax burns like I'm about to have. Oh, we got a visitor, got a little bee over here. But as you can see, the difference in the one where I just rubbed the wax on and the one where I painted it on, definitely a difference that you can visually see. I may just go back over these with the brush just to be on the safe side, because I do not want to have to do this again. We're just going to clean our brush off a little bit by rubbing the wax that's on it onto the frame, and just continue with painting our frame with wax.